Hello everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review. And today we're going to be doing my comic load for the past 2 weeks. Yep, the past 2 weeks. As I stated before, and as you guys know up front, my life is kind of in disarray. I just got promoted to the next level at work, so I'm now a full-fledged manager where I work, so I have a lot of responsibilities. But more importantly, and the reason why I haven't been so consistent, is we're moving. We're moving out of our apartment, which is literally in shambles because, well, we're taking everything out, and we're moving into a house. So because of which, I haven't really had time to do videos. Every weekend has been literally moving stuff out. Never realized how much shit you have until you have to move it, people. Until you have to move it. But it's an exciting time, and once everything gets situated, you guys are gonna like the new room. Basically, I get the whole upstairs, and it's a huge fucking room. You gotta love it. But yeah. So, anyways, we're gonna talk a lot about Future's End. We got a lot of comics to go through. I'm gonna do the 2 weeks that I basically missed, and I might maybe some of the 3 weeks. I think some of my older comics got mixed in there. Don't know. Uh, and I'm gonna just try to babble things off the top of my head. This isn't gonna be really formulated well. This is gonna be very casual because after this, I'm gonna go out. Then I'm gonna go do some hunting for some Power Rangers figures, and then I'm gonna go to the gym and go to my nephew's birthday, his first birthday. Um, so yeah, a lot of stuff going on. I guess the only two things that come to mind, top of my head right away, is I did see the Amazing Spider-Man 2. My thoughts on it is there were a lot of goods and a lot of bads. I love the relationship between Gwen and Peter. I thought that was probably the highlight of the movie. It makes me actually like Gwen Stacy more of as a love interest than anyone else, especially Mary Jane. Uh, but hey, that's movies for you. The action was pretty decent, and the overall emotions that were coming out and the acting itself wasn't bad. What I didn't like is how they shoehorned three villains into one movie. It never works. Remember? Remember? Do we remember Spider-Man 3? How it didn't work there? So shoehorning three villains into a movie just it didn't work. Didn't really care for the Green Goblin and his interpretation. Um, and I felt the pacing could have been better. But on a whole, I thought it was a decent movie, and I enjoyed it. I also saw Batman. Um, what was it? The new Arkham one, Escape into Arkham, or Break into Arkham, or Assault on Arkham. There we go. You can tell how awake I am right now. Which was a fun movie. It was all about the Suicide Squad, which had a pepper of Batman on top of it. It really should have been Suicide Squad, Assault on Arkham, but you got to get in the fans, and the name Batman does it. But anyways, there was a couple other things that's happened recently. They revealed the whole roster for Super Smash Bros. 4. The one I'm most excited for that they revealed was Shulk from Xenoblades is going to be showing up in there, so that's pretty darn cool. And another thing that's interesting is Justice League 3000 is going to have Booster Gold and Blue Beetle show up in it, but it's going to be Booster Gold and Blue Beetle from pre-New 52, which begs the question, what's up with the Justice League 3000 universe? And in an interview with Keith Giffens, he reveals that Justice League 3000 takes place on basically the pre-New 52 Earth. Slightly different, but in the interview he said, yeah, this is basically where our pre-New 52 universe would have gone if we were in control of it. It's our Justice League International. If you go back in time, Superman has underwear. It is Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and Blue Beetle never died. So it's kind of cool, and hey, I'm all for it. I think it's a good thing to have kind of remnants of that universe and have it kind of connect and be different with one of the main titles, which is Justice League 3000. And it actually makes Justice League 3000 more enjoyable to read because now it's set in alternate continuity rather than just far in the future. Which, as you guys know, I hate things set in the future. And what's the topic of this month? Well, none other than the Future's End books, which I will go into in detail, and I'm going to speed round through this shit real quick because I have 2 big weeks worth of stuff to go through. Basically, DC is doing the Future's End, which is their attempt to give us a glimpse into the possible futures of the DC universe. An interview with Jim Lee and Dan DiDio is they basically said that these will be flags placed down that this might be where the DC universe will be in 5 years. However, the problem is the majority of these stories are incredibly depressing, and in addition to that, horribly bad for some of the heroes. Some of them die. Some of them get massively transformed. As you see in the Batgirl one, I can't see that happening in 5 years. The Batman one, same thing. Some of them, though, I can see happen in 5 years. So I guess it's really kind of tossed up in the air. But the one thing that is pretty much a tie-in for all of them is that they're all really set in the same universe 5 years in the future. And whether Batman getting beat up so badly that he has to clone himself makes it in 5 years in the future, I doubt it. But something about Earth 2's exorcist into the main universe is a huge possibility. I don't think they should do it, but hey, we haven't even got to that point yet. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just read the future year stuff now, or the future year. I'm thinking 0 year. The future end material stuff, and then we'll go from there. In addition to that, a small side note: as a house welcoming party for my wife and I, we're going to be doing a Halloween party, and the theme is going to be DC villains. I will give, I don't know, a huge shout out to anyone in the comments that can post which DC villain that she is going as and that I'm going as, and specifically which version I'm going as. That's gonna be the kicker. So I'm surprised by what I picked. I'm surprised by what she picked too. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's get into comics, and literally we're gonna speed round this shit. And we're gonna start things off with I'm gonna break this up basically into companies, starting with the Futures End stuff, then going to Dynamite, then going to IDW, then Marvel, then to DC again, the normal titles. We just adjust the camera. You can see my wonderful wedding pictures in the background. Okay, Futures End. Let's rock and or roll. And we'll start where we always start, with just a little bit of Batman in our future life, with Batman issue #1, or Futures End Batman issue #1. I'm just going to say Futures End and then the title. Basically, in this future, Batman is decrepit and beat up, and he's not doing that well. And he believes that he needs to clone himself in order for there to always be a Batman. But in order to get the technology to do so, he has to basically have an assault on LexCorp. Will Batman be able to make it out alive? In addition to that, will be able to get the material and technology he needs to become, well, forever Batman. Or Batman Forever. Or however you want to word it. On a whole, this issue was pretty decent. I think it's a good Elseworld story, but I don't think it's something that should be said in the future, and that's something I'm going to be bringing up consistently. The cover is pretty cool. It's probably one of my favorite covers. But it's Jason Fabok, so I mean, how can you not love that shit? On a whole, this gets a 3 out of 5. Decent issue. Should not be 5 years in the future because that's a terrible future for Batman in 5 years. But it's on a whole a good concept and good Elseworld. Detective Comics issue #1. Batman basically has to team up with Joker to stop the Calendar Man. Not Joker, Riddler. To stop the Calendar Man from reproducing Riddler's 0 year. The cover on the whole is beautiful, and the story was very well done. With the exception of the ending, which was good but kind of dark for even Batman, it was actually a decent issue, and I wouldn't mind seeing a team up between the two of them in the future with this. Pretty decent, plausible future. And it's funny because the Batman in this is completely different from the Batman in Batman. So he's not decrepit and old and beat up. He's just dark and grim. So a pretty decent issue. Enjoyed it, and cool cover. I believe this cover sold out on most places. It sold out at my comic store. Grayson, Future's End. Why are we doing Grayson's Future End is perplexing to me because the comic's only been out for 2 issues. But basically, this issue goes backwards and it starts with no spoiler because it's the first fucking page. The death of Dick Grayson, and it goes all the way back. You see his relationship with Helena Bertinelli. You see him then go back to being Nightwing. Then you see him going back to being Robin. And you kind of see the progression backwards all the way back to the future. To the future's end. The story was good, as in, like I said, it's touching, and I think it was actually ambitious. The execution was fairly well done, not perfectly, but fairly well done. Uh, Bad idea if it's 5 years in the future because Dick Grayson dies, so it's not a good idea. On a whole, that gets a 3.5 out of 5. Oh, and Detective gets a 4 out of 5. I didn't give a ranking for it. Batgirl's Future's End. Basically, the cover on this is pretty cool. Uh, you see all the Batgirls at the bottom. Well, it's kind of tough. My camera's not really picking them up all that much. Basically, in this is Barbara Gordon, 2 years in the future, is finally getting married and giving up the role of Batgirl. However, her brother shows up, and due to a certain incident, it makes her crack. And because of which, she goes and she seeks out Bane and learns from Bane and takes Venom and becomes the demon Batgirl. And she basically takes in Tiffany Fox, Cassandra Cain, and Stephanie Brown as her Legion or League of Batgirls. On a whole, I thought the concept was cool. It's actually cool to see Cassandra Cain here because she's been MIA. And the Legion of Batgirl things was pretty cool. The League of Batgirls. The story was heartbreaking and it has a good finality. I don't think it should be in the future because Batgirl gets absolute Bane-ized. I mean, there's normal Batgirl, there's Bane Batgirl. What's with the shorts? But for what it was a decent story. Um, that gets a 4 out of 5 because it did have a lot of touching moments. The beginning part was crazy. Um, Birds of Prey issue number 1 or Future's End issue number 1. Basically, in the Black Canary takes over the League of Assassins, makes her Red League, and she basically goes and beats up bad guys and takes people in and makes them her ninja warriors. And yeah, the issue is okay at best, 2.5, middle of the ground. Yeah, I'm not even gonna. It was actually kind of disappointing. Batwing Future's End. So in this, Batwing basically tricks all of his villains together, and he uses Batman Inc. to take them down. That's a very abridged moment. Not moment. Description, but that's basically the gist. He tricks all the evil underground people together and takes them out. This has great finality to the Batwing series. It's a good send off, and I wouldn't mind seeing this 5 years in the future. It doesn't fuck with continuity too much, and it's a good kind of benchmark for Batwing. Sadly, Batwing is not going to be going anywhere in the future, so it doesn't matter. His comic got canceled. I'm sure he's going to show up in the Batman universe, but yeah. The only thing that sucked about this issue is the cover is lackluster. He's like going like this. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. Hey guys. It's silly. But this gets a 4 out of 5. Solid issue. On to Phantom Stranger, Trinity Sin, Future's End. Now, we all know that I have a little soft spot for Phantom Stranger. It's a comic that's grown on me a lot, which is going to be a huge contributor to me saying that this is so far the best Future's End book that I've had. And a lot of people will be going, Andrew, why do you say that? Well, one is this really doesn't need to be set 5 years in the future. It can be set right now. It is basically um, it is the end of Phantom Stranger, but also New Beginnings. This should have been the final issue of Phantom Stranger. It does such a good job at tying everything together and bringing all the plot threads together, and it's really just Phantom Stranger finding who he is. I dare say this is the best of the Future's End, and it's definitely something I want to see as a plausible future because it's what should happen to Phantom Stranger. Beautifully, masterfully done. And maybe there's a little soft spot I have for that because I do like the Phantom Stranger book so much. It's dark and it's different and it's a unique take. But at the same time, Batman's my favorite character, and I get an orgasm every time I see bat ears. So, I mean, I'm not being totally biased. This is a great issue. Constantine, Future's End. This is also interesting. It's basically a battle wits between Constantine and Dr. Fate, and that's the basic gist. The question is who's going to come out on top? Will it be Constantine kicking his ass or Dr. Fate finally take control? This really didn't have much to do with Future End. Rather, it has much to do with Earth 2, and I guess Earth 2 kind of crossing over into Earth Prime. It's a decent issue. I think it did a good job at having a battle wits between Constantine and Phantom Stranger, and Doctor Fate. But it's just at that. I don't know or care if this was in the future, 5 years. But it will get a 4 out of 5. Swamp Thing, Future's End. Boy, is this cover misleading because that guy shows up barely. Basically, this is Death Swamp Thing. That's all you need to know. It's him finally going against the Gray and trying to take them out. Solid issue. Should not be in the future because Swamp Thing dies. And not like he gets killed off and he pops up again as a sprout. No, he legitimately dies. Um, that gets a 3.5. Suicide Squad. Pretty cool cover. Basically, the Suicide Squad had been captured, and the government are trying to clone babies and put personalities of villains in the babies. You even get Baby Deathstroke. Pretty cute. Uh, this was a fun issue. Very Deadshot centered, and I feel as though Deadshot's really getting a lot of push lately. The big thing, though, about this is it should not be set 5 years in the future. Poor Harley Quinn. Poor everyone. This is a terrible future. People are just going to have a terrible time in this universe. On a whole, it gets a 4 out of 5. Should not be in the future. Infinity Man, The Forever People, lackluster, 2 out of 5. It really didn't do much because, well, we've only had 2 issues of Infinity Man and Forever People. So I really don't care what goes on. Superboy, Future's End. So Khan is basically losing all his powers, and it's him facing off against more Superboys. The underlying tone and meaning of this is nice, but it's kind of already been done with the last issue of Superboy. It's basically him versus other Superboys again. Because of that repetitiveness, it gets a 3 out of 5. Action Comics with Donna Troy, issue number 1, Future's End. Well, not with Donna Troy, although someone that looks strangely enough like her. Let's see if I can get the picture. There's a woman in her that looks kind of like Donna Troy. That here we go. Has designs similar to her, but I think it's just supposed to be a homage. Basically, Superman's powers get spread amongst the people, and that's it. His powers go to different people. And Sand Superman goes and flies around and tells him about it. Apparently, after the war with Earth 2 and Darkseid, Superman kind of just buggered on out and is farming now. Yeah, that's basically all he's doing. I don't really feel a 5 year connection so much in this, but the overall story was fun to read. It just didn't really have a good 5 year connection. Superman becomes a farmer in 5 years. That's really going to be interesting for the Superman comics. Green Lantern, Future's End number 1. This was a fairly decent issue. Hal Jordan basically returns to Earth because he realizes, boy, I fucked up being gone for so long. And he faces Black Lanterns with the help of Relic. It's a fun issue, fun story. The ending shouldn't be 5 years in the future, but everything else should be. It was fairly well done. Green Lantern Corps issue number 1 of Future's End. This was also a decent issue. I do think that John Stewart should also have a different lantern ring. I think all of them should be different lanterns. Like Hal be the green, Guy be the red, John be the indigo, and Kyle be the white. But it's not going to happen that way. I like John Stewart also as Green Lantern a lot. So on another hand, he shouldn't change. But for the most part, this is a decent issue with a cool ending. Whether or not it be 5 years in the future is up to you guys. I don't really care because this is something that's easily reversed too. Aquaman, Future's End, issue number 1. This was actually a pretty decent issue. It's part of a two-parter between Aquaman, Future's End, and Aquaman and the others. Aquaman has a spiffy new suit, not quite as good as the suit he currently has, but it's still kind of cool. And Mira and him basically have broken up. He's now with Joanna, or whatever her name is, and he's trying to unite the uh, man's world with Atlantis. Not working out that well because, they don't like each other. Um, it's actually an okay issue. I don't really want to see this in the future for one reason. That's because I love Mira and Aquaman together so much. I don't want to see them broken up. But hey, that's just me. Green Arrow, Future's End. This is cool. It ties into the regular Future's End and is also a good ending for Green Arrow. This gets a 4.5 out of 5. And cool cover. Huntress and Power Girl, boy, this is a misleading cover if at all. So this girl right here is becoming the new Power Girl in Earth Prime. However, she barely shows up in this. This is more Kara's story, and I'm kind of disappointed Kara gets beat up so much in this. Sure, 50 Sue shows up and does a few shit, but yeah, the issue is blah. I literally will give this a 1.5 out of 5. It was just so, well, I'll give it a 2 because Power Girl did have a few badass moments with Deathstroke. But Earth 2, Future's End. This issue was okay. It was a little too much clustered in at once, and the cover's misleading because Red Tornado barely shows up. Again, the Exorcist into Earth Prime, there's a bunch of Earth 2 people there, and basically Earth 2 people are treated like shit because they're from Earth 2. Um, yeah, it's a decent issue, but it's just too much clustered in together. I do not want to see this in the future just because I don't want Earth 2 destroyed and them come over to Earth Prime. I'd rather have Earth 2 be separate from Earth Prime, but hey, that's just me. I think it's better that way. And finally, the last of the Future's End that we have is Justice League United. Basically, it's this is a one-parter because the other one ends in Justice League. It's actually pretty cool. You get to see the Justice League now, which is minus Wonder Woman and Superman. It's Flash, Cyborg, Dawnstar, a new character they introduced that's wearing the American flag that I completely forget what his name is. Um, One of the outsiders or the others. So it's basically the Justice League makeshift 5 years in the future with Cyborg as its leader. And they have to go to Mars to save Martian Manhunter, who has been taken captive by evil supervillains. But you find out that there may not be a supervillain behind it. It might be something else. 3.5 out of 5. Decent issue. Decent issue. I don't really care for it to be in the future because basically it says the Justice League United was disbanded and destroyed. So what's the point of reading the comic? You tell me. Okay, so that's a future end stuff. Good. Some of them really good. Some of them really not good. Some of them really shouldn't be set in the future. But on a whole, as a collector's item, they're pretty nice. But that's just the thing. That's what they try to get you as. It's a collector's item. Spend money for it. But yeah, whatever. I'm not loving the Future's End as much as I'm loving Forever Evil, or how much I liked Villains Month. I think Villains Month was the better of the three. Although Zero Year was pretty good too. So moving on to non-Future's End, except for the regular Future's End that's going to be at the end. Red Sonja and the Black Tower. Issue number 1. So this is going to be a spin-off series. Red Sonja likes doing this, um, among other of the Dynamite series. Basically, a big black tower shows up, and divine beings come out of it, and Red Sonja has to kick ass and take names. It's only the first issue, but it's gripping enough that you really want to see what happens in it. Has good art, good action, and it's a fun story. I recommend getting this, especially if you haven't had a chance to jump into Red Sonja. It's a great jumping on point of the character. So this gets a 4.5 out of 5. Deja of Mars, issue number 4. I believe this is the end of the series because we're going to be kicking off the new Warlords of Mars series, which is Edgar Rice Burroughs, A Princess of Mars, Warlords of Mars. So long title. This was an okay ending. Boy, Deja is an absolute animal in it. But it has a satisfying ending, a good amount of action in it, and the only thing I don't like about it is just how Deja's a psycho. So that's why I'm giving this only 3 out of 5. Blood Queen, issue number 4. More manipulating, more action, and more intrigue. This has, I guess, a very Game of Thronesy feeling to it. But this issue was great. And Blood Queen is only 4 issues in, but it cemented itself as a staple onto my pull list. So, as it was a tentative for a while, I'm definitely going to stick with this title. It's really fun, really sword and sorcery fun and very D&D-esque. Vampirella, issue number 4. This is still on kind of the bubble on whether or not I'm going to keep it on my pull list or not. It's a decent issue. Again, her hunting more for more vampires and sucking their blood. I think the last issue was a little bit better with the uniqueness of the vampire, but this one is still pretty grotesque and gruesome. I'm going to keep giving this a shot. If I need to cut comics, which may happen in the future, this might be one of the first, but so far this is a decent issue, 3.5 out of 5. Angel and Faith, issue number 6. Boy, I don't even remember. Faith is doing more badass security stuff, while Angel's working with, what's her face? Amy. The evil witch that was dating one of the trios. And that's basically just the problem with this series is it's not doing what it's supposed to. Angel and Faith are better when they're together. They're not. I do not like what's happening in this. 2 out of 5. The Death of Wolverine, issue number 1 and 2. So far, I'm enjoying this series. It has good art, a decent story to it. I really like how they talked about how, Wolverine's dying not just because of the fact he doesn't have a healing factor, but like all the bacteria he's taken in from having his claws go in and outside of his hand, and all the diseases he has, and the radiation poisoning from basically his fucking skeleton is like a magnet for radiation. It's pretty cool. I'm intrigued with this story. I'm just getting sucked in a lot, and I think this is what kind of Wolverine should have been in the past few issues of his main series. It's a bummer that they're going to kill Wolverine, but at the same time, they're not going to kill Wolverine. They're going to kill him, but he's not going to be gone. Like all things, he'll come back. Captain America issue number 24. This issue was awesome. Pick it up. This is basically setting up Falcon to become the new Captain America. I'm enjoying this every bit here, there, everywhere. It's a good issue. Continuing to be one of the best of the Marvel titles. You know what's not really fun is Spider-Man issue 1.4, Learn to Crawl. I don't give a shit about this story anymore. It's boring. It's not put together well, and it tries to wiggle itself into continuity and make the past look more modernized and updated. It fails at it. So 2 out of 5. But in saying that, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 6 is still pretty decent. It's a fun romp from beginning to end. Only thing I don't like about it, and again, I'm not as how should we say educated on the Marvel universe as a lot of people, but Black Cat is a little bit more evil than I expect her to be. I thought she'd be a little bit more like Catwoman, just a thief that's flirting with a hero, having sex every once in a while. Nothing really bad. She's just a thief. She's full blown evil villain. So, 4 out of 5. Speaking of cats, Catwoman. Speaking of not caring, me. Literally. Don't read it. Wait till Ann Nocenti's off the book. Harley Quinn is good as always. She basically finds a new roller derby that allows violence and death. It's Harley Quinn. It's going to be consistently a 4 or 5 out of 5. Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner are great in it. Tiny Titans issue number 4. They decide to go under the sea to find their new treehouse, and they find a treehouse. But is it one that they want? This is a great book just to read at the end of all your comics. It just puts that period on everything that you want. I'm not going to give it a rating because it's a fun book. It shouldn't be critiqued. It should just be fun. Batman 66 meets Green Hornet issue number 4. continuing the awesome team up between the two. Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman are doing a great job capturing the voices of both TV series characters. Um, awesome. Pick it up. Pick it up. Injustice Gods Among Us, issue number 11 and 12. Basically, this is the fall of Hal Jordan becoming a Sinestro Corps member. That's all you really need to know. This is the fall of Hal Jordan. Get it because, well, Injustice is awesome. It also has a shocking fucking ending for Black Canary. Future's End, issues number 18 and 19. Looks like Brother Eye is starting to infect people, and we get a fight between Power Girl and Deathstroke. The series is getting slightly better. Still not as interesting as Batman Eternal, which we'll get into, but getting slightly better. I say trade wait for it. I think Future's End is a trade waiter, to be honest. It's too far in deep to get into it. It's a trade waiter. Batman Eternal issue number 22 and 23. The issue before these two was a shocker that Hush returned, and I think it is Thomas Elliot because he's quoting Aristotle's, but you never know who Hush is because at the beginning you never know who Hush is. Basically, in these issues, Batman starts teaming up with Alfred's daughter a lot more. Catwoman's father is revealed, and her past is really revealed, and what she needs to do to save Gotham. These issues are stellar. They are fun. They're continuing the fast-pacedness of the previous issue. I'm super curious where the story is going to go. Batman Eternal is awesome. Pick it up. Coming up to the last two issues this week, Superman Unchained, issue number 8. If you want to see Superman as badass he gets, get this issue. It's nothing but a big fight. And has a twist at the end. I think there's only 1 or 2 issues left in this. To throw a twist like that at the end, it's pretty crazy, but really great fight. And Jim Lee, my favorite artist, is doing the art, so you cannot complain with that. And lastly, probably I think the best comic these past 2 weeks, minus maybe the Phantom Stranger and Batman Eternal, is Justice League issue number 33. Playing catch-up game right now to the other numbers, which are on 34. Basically, in this, Power Ring is being brought into the Justice League. Lex Luthor tries to help her, but it's another Justice League member that helps her. Lex Luthor is being brought into the Justice League too, as well as the Justice League versus Doom Patrol. Fun issue. I love the Lex Batman stuff that's going on, and Power Ring will be a good temporary hold while we get a new Green Lantern. And it's confirmed that we are going to get another Green Lantern back on the Justice League. I just don't know who. Interview with Jeff Johns. Yes. So that's it. That's comics for the week. I'm not going to do questions and answers just because I'm running low on time, but I'm going to stop everything here. And yeah, we'll hopefully once I get moved in, by the end of the month, I'm going to get situated. So that's when everything's going to start consistent again. I promise. So, this is Andrew saying peace out for now.